Dude, I'm digging the record, man. I'm really digging the record, dude.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
you guys have done some really cool stuff with this one, but can you believe that it's been over 20 years of Upon a Burning Body, man? Last year was 20 years, right?
Wild, right?
Yeah, how does that feel knowing that you guys have been not just around, but you guys could have continued to stay relevant and to stay on everyone's radars for as long as you have been now.
Yeah, I guess we don't really think about it until somebody, till you bring it up. But we've just been doing our best, man. Just we love what we do, and we do our best to just make the best music possible. And so yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's but with this one, man, with Blood of the Bull, dude, it's been out for a little over a month now. And man, I feel like you guys have really expanded your sound on this one. You guys kind of started to add some new elements with Southern Hostility, and it kind of bled into Fury, but you guys really went all out on expanding what Upon a Birdie Body sounds like on this record, it feels like.
Yeah, 100%. We and that was on purpose. We
Yeah.
definitely wanted to make a statement. We just wanted to do the best of like the most eclectic things that we all collectively love. Some of the guys lean more into this sound, some of the guys lean more into that sound. So bringing it all together into one kind of world and package was the goal. And in my opinion, in my heart, wholeheartedly, I have said this to Ruben over and over. I think that I feel that Blood of the Bull is the best album Upon a Burning Bodies ever written.
hmm Yeah, I was listen. So today I listened to Southern Hostility, Fury, and Blood of the Bull
Yeah.
all back to back,
Yeah.
and this feels like the most complete album
Yeah.
you guys have written and put together,
Yeah.
by far.
It's just something about the songs, man. I don't know, just them all together under one umbrella, it just feels really good. And I know that a lot of people will push back and use the red, white, and green, of course, but I just don't think red, white, green outshines this one. I really don't.
Right. Are you guys independent now?
Yeah, I've been independent since 2020, I believe.
Okay. What
Somewhere around there. No,
okay.
no. Is yeah, 2021, 20, I forget, man. It's been some years though.
Right. Well, everything from 2020 on is kind of a blur. So so
Right,
um
right. So when we released Insatiable Hunger, that was our first independent release. So right around that time.
okay. What kind of opened the door to you guys wanting to go that route? Because man, it's one thing to start independent, but when you've been on major labels and you've built up a following and you built up that rapport, that's a risk sometimes, man.
Yeah, big time. It's something we've thought about for a long time, and just collectively with us being as hands-on as we've always been in our business. Um, you just notice things. You look at statements, you look at numbers, you kind of see what's going on as far as where this is going, where that's going, who's doing this, who's doing that, and vice versa, right? And we sort of just looked at the landscape of everything that engulfed Upon a Burning Body and what we all do. And me and Ruben were just thinking to ourselves, like, man, I just think maybe there's a possibility where we could do it on our own, right? And it was something we were very interested in doing for multiple reasons, and we just took that leap, man, and just tried it, and we've been loving it so far. Obviously, it's a ton more work,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of things that you have to do that a lot of bands will not be used to doing, because that's more of like, oh, my manager handles that, or our label took care of that. You kind of don't even really know
Yeah.
what goes into that. It's just like presented to the band as like, hey, we're going to do this. Here's the schedule. Here's the layout. All I need from you guys is this and this. And so now we are the whole team, right? And it's been a challenge, but it's a very rewarding challenge when I hear guys like you say that you love the album because we worked extremely hard to bring that to everyone, you know?
You think that when you back when you guys were on major labels, marrying all that stuff, do you think that Blood of the Bull was a record you would have been able to make, or I don't want to say allowed to make, but do you think you would have been able to make it back when you were not independent?
Um, I believe so. On Sumerian,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because they were very open when we wrote Straight from the Barrio. And that album was when I started to explore a lot of clean vocals and really do that. And there was no issues with that with them.
Gotcha. What was that evolution like for you, bringing the clean vocals in? Because in all honesty, man, like hearing your clean vocals, I'm a little mad we didn't hear it. We didn't hear them sooner. Man,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what was that evolution like, and what was that? Is that something that you were kind of experimenting with and kind of trying to discover long before we heard it, or like what was that process like for you, and how has it helped you develop as a vocalist and a frontman?
Yeah, so I've always gravitated towards so if you well, I'll give you some history. The first album has two parts. The World Is Ours has two parts that there's clean vocals. There's one song where it's like really hidden in the back and oh my goodness, this is you're we're going way back. So I believe the song is called Heat. I think it's Heat. And there's a little snip of like some clean vocals. That's not me, that's another guy that we brought in to do that. And then on the song, the last song on that album is called City Hall. And at the last bit of that song, there's like a little melody going in the background, some clean vocals. Again, that same guy.
Yeah.
I've always wanted clean vocals because I've been inspired by bands that do clean vocals. Like one of my favorite bands to this day, and back then in that era was Haste the Day, and they sung a ton, right? Mm-hmm. Beautiful choruses and everything, and I loved their music. And big fan to this day, and so I've always really liked that. But then we have the other side of things where we're like in the genre of like the Velmayas, the Born of Osiris's, the Faceless. And so we're trying to do that because we love that as well, right?
Right.
So then when we did Red, White, Green, you'll notice there was a lot of those kind of like early pitch scream type of melodies that were there, like in Texas Blood Money, it's there, Island of Lost Dreams, it Once Upon a Time in Mexico, songs like that. They all have that kind of melody chorus. Mm-hmm. So we started to explore that then.
Right.
And that was me doing those. Then you move to The World Is My Enemy. Same kind of, you got songs like Scars and they do that same movement, that same pitch scream stacked melody. And I felt like maybe we were even a little bit early because then all the bands that did it right after us, you know what I mean? And we were, but that's another conversation. But and it's okay. We're not bitter about it. It's just I feel like sometimes you do things maybe too early and they don't really hit as much as like when people are ready to do all that. But anyway, so then there was that, and then you move into Straight from the Barrio, right? And that is when I was like clean singing, and that was when I was. It was just the evolution of like how you're saying, like I've always wanted to do it, and we were slowly inching towards like let's really try this, and then of course there was like some hesitancy in it because it's like, well, we've developed our brand as this heavy. So I don't know if we can sing now on the fourth album. And I was really pushing like, that doesn't matter, man. We can do it. Like we're artists. Like you can't.
You make the record for yourselves first.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't tell a barber to cut the same haircut for the rest of his life, right? So like you don't want to write the same thing over and over and over and over. It's like we are artists. We want to evolve. There's guys in the band that love this type of music, guys in the band that love that type of music. And the beautiful thing about that is you come together and you create something with a little bit of both, right? That's the name of the game. so that's what we did, and I started singing a lot on straight from the barrio, and then yeah, I just we our schedule was just so busy. Like, I'll be honest, my practice regimen wasn't where it needed to be, and it was a little bit difficult to like perform those live day in day out for me.
Hmm.
So when we started to do like Fury, we kind of toned it down. You could tell the singing was a little less, and then when we did Southern Hostility, I forget which ones. Nah, so many damn albums. Which ones? Which ones?
Hostility came first, then Fury, now
Okay,
Blood.
okay.
Yeah,
So Hostility
it's
still
there, it's
it's a
there.
little bit, it's a little
Yeah.
bit, but not as prominent as Straight from the Body, and and it's almost going back to like the Red White Green Enemy album because it's more stacked pitch stuff, on Southern, and then Fury is when we really started to kind of bring in Thomas, our brother, as the bass player. He was in Fury too. He was helping with Fury, but then I'm sorry, he was helping with Southern Hostility. Fury is when he started, so you'll hear his cleans
Okay.
on Fury, and
Okay.
then there was the EP, which was maybe a little bit of both, and then now we're at Blood of the Bull are all his cleans, right? And that's been a stretch of like a little bit of cleans on Insatiable, a lot of cleans on Another Ghost, um, and then all the cleans that you'll hear on the album on Blood of the
Mm.
Bull are all his cleans.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
because he to me was like further along in like the practice regimen. He wasn't touring. He was just at home, just grinding, practicing. So it was like,
Oh shit.
to me,
Okay.
it lent itself to like, why don't you just handle this part and I can concentrate on the other part, right? And I don't have to be as worried, like, man, I didn't really practice that song, and if my voice is going out on a winter tour, like, what's that going to look like as far as the
Yeah.
cleans? So I was like, I feel better if you do that, and he sounds amazing. So to me, it was a no brainer for me, and so all the cleans that you hear are all his. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
and it's a refreshing sound. It's a little different, and
Yeah.
and yeah, I personally feel like, I mean, we did the best we could, and I think it's the best album we've ever done. So
Living in a Matrix is freaking awesome. Like
yeah,
that intro and just the all that stuff. That song's fucking freaking
yeah,
sweet, man.
yeah.
Uh, Man, there's so many really cool songs. That one really stands out. Killshot just fucking I about tipped our fridge over doing listening to that song a little bit ago,
Most
man.
people, I think, most people said that, something similar to that. Yeah, that song rock. That song is a hype machine. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes, and it's really really fun. So I love it.
Yes. It's a really interesting time in heavy metal, metalcore. A lot of bands are kind of evolving right now, that you wouldn't think ever would. Um, have you guys noticed that? Do you guys pay attention to the trends and what's happening with kind of like the bands around you and see everything they're doing as well? Because there's so many bands really changing sounds, evolving, developing, in a lot of really different ways that a year or two ago you would have never expected.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. I don't. I
Okay.
personally don't. I'm more of a this guy, and I don't really look or see what the landscape is doing,
Mm.
which is could be good or bad depending who you're talking to. But like, Ruben and Thomas are very aware of
Oh,
of
okay.
the evolution of the sound of metal and the modern sound of metal. And so when they write the music, they are very very good at like understanding what's going on, how can we do this and do this, and oh, now these bands are really like elevating in this world, so like there's an opportunity to do maybe this sound that we've been wanting to do because now it's being accepted more or whatever. Like, those two guys are like the driving force of like knowing the landscape. um I'm the type of guy that's just like, I've never wanted to sound like anyone else. So for me, I don't listen to the the similar style, which is metal, you know. So because I don't want to end up being like, oh man, I really like this song, I've been jamming it in metal, and then all of a sudden I write something and then later listen to it and I'm like, wow, it kind of sounds like that band I've been listening to, right? Like, so I've always been afraid of that. So to
Mm.
combat that, I just don't listen to, like, I mean,
That's
I
yeah,
love like country music. I love like
really
80s pop music. That's what I listen to, you know.
nice.
So
Okay.
when the guys present me with a song, I just let the song take me to an emotion,
Okay.
and I do what I think the song needs on that song in like a
Okay.
metal form, because I'm still a metal guy at heart, right? That's where I
Yeah.
came from. And so I'm not saying like, oh, I'm a country guy. Like I'm not. I just, that's typically what I listen to on a daily,
Mhm.
outside of metal. And that came from just touring 10 months out of the year for so many years of our lives. Like, you hear metal in the loudest form over and
Yeah.
over and over and over. And it becomes a point where you're like, I would like to listen to something else, right? You know,
Yes.
not that you don't like it, but it's like, it's just so like, and
Yeah.
so that's sort of my mindset. It's like I just let the music take me to a place, and then I do the best I can in the metal form that
Hmm.
I've done this for a while, you know.
I'm the same way, man. Like I hear music so much because of everything, and it's just like when I'm not reviewing music, sometimes I just want to listen to something else.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because like you're around metal and everything so much that like you have to switch it up sometimes. It just, but I also get what you're saying about, tunnel vision. Like I work in pro wrestling out here in Indianapolis as well, and like I'm on the creative team and I pay attention to everything that's on TV right now. The other
Right.
guy, nothing.
Uh-huh.
you
Uh-huh.
know? And
Yeah.
so kind of the same dynamic. Because like one of us is always tuned in and one of us is just only us.
Right.
So I get that. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I
um
think there's a time and a place for both. It's just how you
yeah,
utilize it and be.
yeah. Um I love the incorporation of the horns and the guitars and kind of I don't, for lack of better terms, like Hispanic heritage sounds that you've
Yeah.
incorporated in some of these songs.
Yeah. You're right.
At what point did you guys kind of decide that that's something you guys wanted to do? Because I think it gives a really, really awesome just juxtaposition because you got that and then it just fucking explodes into
Yeah.
heavy metal and it's just so much fun to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first time we showcased a little bit of that sound, if I'm not mistaken. Well, actually, the what is it? The red, white, green is the first introduction to the Spanish like
Mhm.
guitar. I know there's two of them. There's the A Toda Madre, and then there's El Mariachi. So yeah, I sound really silly because I don't. It's like, yeah, you don't even know you're on. But I mean,
You've
golly,
written you've written a shit ton of songs and music
we've
though.
written so many songs.
Yeah.
I can't. So I apologize to the fans
No, you're
watching here
good.
today. Like,
You're good.
whichever one came first,
Mhm.
in that piece of music, there's, I believe the first one was introduced on Red, White, Green. I'm pretty sure, and then and then we did it again on another album, and so then we did it on Straight from the Body. It was when we started to really like mesh the songs with that kind of like, you have songs like Already Broken, and it has that sort of blend, um, and some other Till the Break of Dawn is kind of Spanishy. You know, I'm singing in Spanish, so it really like, I remember me and Ruben just conversation on business, and we were like, man, you know, what can we do to really like stamp, like, you know, you always want to separate yourself. Everyone wants to separate themselves from the herd, right? So you
Want to stand
stand
out.
out.
Yeah.
You're bigger. You want to be Metallica. There's only one Metallica. There's a stamp that says that sound and that, those guys, and everybody models that, right? They're the
Hmm.
biggest metal band in the world. So if you're trying to aspire to that sort of level of success, even just the idea, it presents, separate yourself from the herd, right? Don't sound like everyone else. Don't do what everyone else is doing. That's art in general. And we said, well, who are we, and what do we do, or what do we embody that is different than everyone else? And we looked at the culture that we've come from, and this the San Antonio Mexican American Hispanic heritage. that's here and rich. And we said, well, I can't think of many bands that would be able to do that organically because unless you're from here, it's really not a thing. There's maybe LA influence that could lend itself to that.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're from Mexico, by all means. But there's not very many places, right? There's California, there's San Antonio, and I would say maybe there's some Latin roots like up in New York with like more of the like Dominican kind of
Right.
thing. But other than that, that's it. So we said, well, man, that's a special thing to be from here and to so let's put that in our music. And we grew up around all the Tejano and all the sounds and the culture and the bright colors and everything that is San Antonio. And we just packaged it into the music and went for it. And people seemed to like it. We didn't really think it hit hard enough for us to like be like, well, let's just drive it and drive it. So
Right.
we kind of laid back. But then when we did Blood of the Bull, we were like, man, we haven't done the Mexican thing in a while. Like let's bring that back organically. And so we tastefully put it in the intro of the album. We put
Yep.
it in the intro of um, uh, Insatiable Hunger,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's the only other band I can really think of that puts their organic roots was Sepultura. Put some of
yeah.
the Brazilian tones in. Other than that, it's a completely I feel like one of the more untapped areas that there is. And so to hear
Yeah,
it,
or El Nino back when
yeah, I always forget about them. Yeah.
they were really good at
Yeah.
that. Back
Yeah.
back when they were really showcasing that. So
Yeah.
I would be uh, it would be disrespectful for me not to include like to because we were definitely all fans of as kids and shit like that. So like they were doing it
Yeah.
too. But Sepultura, yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
I can't really think of anybody off top that was doing that Spanish sound like that, really, outside of those two.
You guys were on, you guys toured with El Nino on one of the last Mayhem festivals, I think, back in
Yeah,
2014.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
They were on it.
yeah, that was, it's hard to believe that was the next to last Mayhem tour, but like for you guys, what was that like being on, God, Mayhem was such a different animal, man. It's more like it was, I always said it was like a heavy metal Warp tour, but with a set schedule instead of not knowing when you were going to play every day.
Right,
Um,
right.
what was like being on tour with them? And do you have any, what was Mayhem like to be on tour for like you guys way back
Man,
then?
Mayhem was a tour that I call it the summer you never wanted to end, right?
Yeah.
It's like you just like I can just live here forever, right? And like I'm fine. And yeah, man, it was just a lot of fun. A lot of being able to play in front of the biggest crowds you've ever done,
Hmm.
and on a set schedule where it just felt like everything was just in the right order, right? Like you're just on the biggest metal tour running. You know what I mean? Like there's not a bigger metal tour that's competing with that at that
No,
time.
right.
So if you were there, you were on the tour. You know what I mean? Like for
Hmm.
metal, that's where everybody wanted to be in metal, and if you were there, you're running on that. And I've always called it the summer that we never wanted to end.
Yeah. I kind of I miss it though. Like God, I remember a few years ago. Yeah, before COVID, they were talking. I heard rumors that it was coming back, and I'm so bummed
Yeah,
out that it never came to fruition, man. Like,
yeah.
like between Warp Tour and Mayhem, I never got to go to Ozfest, but like, because I'm originally from Iowa and we have nothing there, period. So, but man, I just miss it. Um, can you tell me a little bit about there's the two big changes for the band over time. Obviously, Thomas coming in and
Mhm.
joining. But then, and I don't know how much you want to go into it, but obviously Tito leaving the band last year, which is the a huge change for you guys. How do you guys handle when it comes to lineup changes like that? Because I mean, he was in the band for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
And then, but also Thomas coming in, family,
right.
that's a good change.
Yeah, yeah. With Thomas, he came in and he wasn't doing anything like where he was touring or anything yet. So
Mhm.
when we started to do write and record Southern Hostility, me and Ruben had taken note of like the songs that he was doing with his band, and we were like, man, like our little brother is like becoming a really cool like songwriter, like kind of guy, and
Right.
we knew we'd been in the game for a long time, right? So we're like, we don't ever want to be like those like older heads that are like stale and just like stuck in your own like, no, this is what we write and this is what we do, and then like
Mhm.
this is what like, because you're never evolved, right? Like that attitude will hold you back in anything you do.
Yeah.
And so we've always just been open guys, like, man, we're down to work with that producer, this fresh new kid, like this whatever, like just keep it like relevant, you know what I mean? Like it just, we've never been afraid of that, and just swallow the pride and know we've been doing this for a long time, but that doesn't mean we can continue doing this like new kid. It's a young man's game, you know what I mean? And so um, we brought him in, and he was helping us write and just throw ideas on Southern Hostility, and we loved it. And then at that time, our bass player decided he wanted to do other stuff,
Mhm.
so we were like, at that point, we were like, I'm so tired of just like introducing new members and then putting them in the photos. And then we got to do this whole new thing. And like,
Yes. Yeah.
it was just exhausting at that point. It was like, I'm so tired of this. And we felt like, why don't we, it's like Thomas doesn't really play bass, but he dabbles in like writing his songs on
Mhm.
bass and guitar. So we were like, there's a familiarity with it. So we asked him, hey, would you want to like really like dive into learning bass and just be the bass on here, and then probably implement you singing on this? And he was just like, yeah, let me think about it. And he came back and was like, I'm down to try it. And Ruben sent him like videos of the bass parts, and then he just learned them super fast and came in
Nice.
and was like ready to go. And then of course, COVID was a thing where everybody was just kind of waiting. So he had his first show like right after everybody started to let off of like the shows were
Right.
back, and we could do them again. And he had his first show with us at that time, but he had already been in the band for like that year and a half or whatever, Um,
Gotcha.
so yeah, that was great. You know what I mean? Because it's like we didn't have to like hire some new guy that we don't know,
Yeah.
and then even if you do know them on like the tip of like they come over or you hang out, it's different when you get into a van and you're living in that van.
Yeah.
Like
Tour is completely different, man.
then you
Like,
see like the quirks, you see the annoyances, like, oh, this guy
yeah.
doesn't like this, or he doesn't like when people wake up early. There's just so much to navigate when you're living in such a small place and you're
Yeah.
traveling like a damn gypsy, and you're
Mhm.
just like with other men, other grown men, like people like their space, people like things really neat. So if you got a messy guy, then that clashes. So stuff like that, it was better for us to offer it
Mhm.
to Thomas because like he's the little brother. So like
Yeah.
there is no like getting to, we've already lived with him, right? We grew up with him. So
Hmm.
so that was just a much better situation, and yeah, we love
Right.
that. And
Have
then
you?
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and then to answer your second part of the question with Tito, that was just, Tito is going in a different direction of like his mind wants to do other stuff, so we just mutually were like, hey, that's what you want to do, great. And we wished him all the best, and all his new business ventures and ideas that he wants to do,
Mhm.
and no hard feelings, it's cool.
Right.
And he wanted to do something else, and that's okay.
Yeah, and fans don't always realize like being on tour for even one tour is hard, let
Yeah,
alone for that fucking long. Like,
yeah,
it's I was talking to the interview right before this, like it's not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is. Like
not even close. No.
it's horrible. I've done some runs and stuff like that. It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't want to do it. So yeah, it's
it,
completely understandable when somebody's good. Like I'm good. We're good to go.
it's different, and
Yeah.
you don't know that until I look at it like, you think when you watch like a boxing match, you're like, I can get in there and handle myself a little. But when you're in there that guy and he's doing what he's doing, well, you're like, okay, whoa. Even
Uh-huh.
pros go through that. They talk a lot and they're saying, yeah, this and that, but I'm gonna do this. And they say, we'll see. And then they get in there with like the legendary kind of guy, and he just smashes them. And
Hmm.
you see the guy's face, like, I didn't know he was going to be like that. Right. And so
Right.
it's sort of that same mindset. It's like everybody says, like, oh, I would love to go and do that and just
Hmm.
like travel and see the world. It's like, yes, to a point, right? But like, I remember going to like Paris, right? And you think, wow, we're in Paris, right? And I'm gonna go see the Louvre, what I'm gonna go
The
see the Eiffel
Louvre
Tower. I'm
Tower.
gonna go
Mhm.
see. Okay, here's a couple problems with that. One, when we went the first time, we were making no money, right? So like we're scraping by. Like the perception is, oh, a pond's blowing up, right? And then it's like, yeah, not really. You can even see there's an interview I think with Jim Root talking about when Slipknot was on their Iowa cycle and they were like not making as a band, not and they're playing crazy, but it costs so much to do that, and then you have other players in the team outside of the band that you're paying to make these
Mhm.
things. And so like, not to dog all that, but there's no money, right? So it's not like we just got this funds of here, let's take the train to the Eiffel Tower and go and
Yeah.
visit and do like you can't. Two, the timing is like you get there at a certain time, you got to sound check, you got to set up your stuff because you're not a band that like doesn't load in and doesn't touch the gear. Like we're actually setting it up. By the time we're done with that, it's like we're not the headliner on the tour, so we're playing in like 2 hours. We can't go even with the money. We can't just go to the Eiffel Tower and like, oh, there it is, cool. No, 30-minute ride back, so we
Yeah.
gotta go now. You know what I mean? Like that now that
You
doesn't
wouldn't
make
be able
sense.
to. You wouldn't be able to enjoy it. You pull up.
You
Oh,
wouldn't be
there
able
it
to,
is. Oh, we got to go
right.
now. You
We
know.
gotta haul ass because we gotta play, you know what I mean? And like hope you make it back on time. And it's like you it's not what everybody thinks. Like you just travel, you go and you're on vacation, right? You're
Yeah.
working and you're working hard, and sometimes at that time the money wasn't available, like maybe
Mhm.
it's different, uh so there's those variables, you know what I mean? And that is just on top of I've seen people who were like, I just want to do this, and I'm like, cool, man, I'll hire you, and you'll just be like a roadie, right? Like you're just really loading in, loading out kind of guy. And they come halfway through the tour, they're like, this is
Yeah.
not for me. This is
Yeah.
not for me. Like they don't
Mhm.
like it, right? And
Yeah.
I tell all fans, man, it's like you like I'm not saying don't do this. This is not what I'm saying at all.
You have to
Live
love
your
it.
dream, do it, and do it the best you can, and have as much fun as you can, right? And do it. I tell point people to do this, right? Do it. But I will tell you, it's not for everybody, and you have to do those tours in order to realize I love this lifestyle and I want to do this, or I'm out. Like I can't.
Yeah.
And there's two types of people. There's the guys who get in the van and they're like, this is incredible. I never want to stop doing this. I don't even want to go home. Like we've hired some crew guys and they're like, I don't even want to go home. Like when's the next one? Let's just go
Right.
now, and they love it. And
Yeah.
that's great. And we've hired crew guys that are like, yeah, I can't do another one. I can't
Yeah.
do this. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like everybody says they want to be on tour, but then you really find out if you really want to do it when it's like 4 in the morning and you're driving through the middle of nowhere. You don't know where you're at, and you
Yeah.
got to be up at 8, or when you're just at the venue and you've got 9 hours to do literally nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So I've done wrestling shows. I'm like, all right, we're here at 11. The show's at 7. What the
Yeah.
hell do I do?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that's the stuff people don't think about, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, when you sit down and you look at what this record really really is from front to back, man, Blood of the Bull, dude. What does this record mean to you, and what does it say to you as the voice of Upon a Burning Body, man?
I mean, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to all of us because, like I said, like we touched on earlier, it's our first independent full album, right? So
Yeah.
if there was a camera attached right here to each and every one of us, and the fans had the time to sit there and watch everything that we did to make this album possible, to promote it, I mean, they'll see a lot of arguments, they'll see a lot of headbutting within
Yeah.
all of us. as the band, and then they'll see a lot of cool stuff, and you're making these moments and creating these really fun songs like Kill Shot and Matrix, and like just all those things that are really special, and the album is really deep as far
Yeah.
as lyrical content.
Reckless love.
Obviously, like Kill Shot's more of a fun song. That's a fictional fun song, but there's songs like Reckless
Reckless
Love.
love.
That's a real song for me. That's really me going
It's
back to
so
my
good,
childhood.
man. It's
Yeah,
so good. I love that you closed the record with it too, by the way.
yeah. It was like the obvious choice to kind of like do that. You
Yeah.
don't close with like a kill shot. You just knock them out and like, oh, see, you know what I mean. You want to close them with like some emotion as far as how
Yeah.
eclectic the songs are.
Bring them
So,
down.
but it's a very real, passionate album. There was a lot of just everything you can think of that went into that, and so to see that people like it, and a lot of people love it, is just like a reward that I couldn't even really tell you how that feels. I mean, unless you do that yourself and make something, not even an album, but you make something that people love like that, then you understand what that feels like, when you know how much work it took, and you're just like exhausted, and you're just like tired of it, but you just keep doing, it's like
Yeah.
just something different.
Yeah, for me, man, like I said, I write pro wrestling storylines, so when I get to, I get to see them from their inception, from when they're
Yeah,
written down onto paper, through the process, and then get to see them come to life right in
yeah,
front of me. And I don't know if that's anything like writing music, but if it is, man, the fact that you get to see these songs from their birth, writing them down on paper, putting them together, seeing them recorded, and then seeing people fall in love with your art and what you've created.
yeah.
Man, I feel like that's a feeling that you can't really put into words, when it gets
No,
received as well as it has.
no, and it is cool, like when you look back at the label stuff, because the idea is the same, but that machine runs at such a different pace that you lose some of, because those guys are doing so much to like want to blow your band up, and you have all these players on your
Mhm.
team that are doing so much stuff.
Mhm.
When we are doing Blood of the Bull, it's just us,
Yeah,
man.
you don't
So
not 20 other bands that
no,
you know.
nothing that we could say that this manager, this label, this A&R, this whoever, this designer came and presented this. No, man, everything that is Blood of the Bull had to come from one of us.
Yeah.
And that idea had to present itself through one of us and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? What do you think about that? And then we explore. So it's a whole different reward, right? There's the label reward. There's being on a label, like you, oh, I made it, and we're on this. That's special, and that's amazing. But that machine runs different than we've experienced this machine running, because this machine is like, well, we have to do it all, and I'm talking about all. So it's different.
Yeah. You guys fucking killed it with this record, man. The fact that this is literally your first independent release, this is all you. You guys fucking nailed it, knocked it out of the park, man. The fact that your first independent release is probably your best record,
Yeah.
uh, says a lot, dude. And I'm absolutely in love with it, with
Yeah,
it,
man. See,
dude.
that's what I mean. Thank you,
Uh,
bro. Thank you. It's like,
yes.
and real quickly, I do want to add our first independent release, our first, and in my opinion, our best album. But credit to Sumerian Records and credit to Seek and Strike. For Sumerian especially, because they believed in us at a time when no one did.
Mhm.
We were getting all the rejection letters from all the other labels. Like, thank you, but no thank you, very politely. And Sumerian is the one that took the chance and did it. And they opened that door. So I always just the way I'm built, I say thank you to Sumerian always, because without them taking a chance, I don't know if we'd be having this conversation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because nobody else was going to take a chance on us at that time,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
they did. So I just want to slip that in there,
Yeah.
because I
They
think it's important. I'm
they
grateful.
I mean, yeah, they had a huge role in helping establish you guys as a band, helping you grow that following,
Yeah,
put you on another level so that you would have the following and the attention that you're able to have, and honestly be able to have the success you have as an independent band. So
yeah,
that is a really good point. And
exactly.
you don't hear many bands thank the label that they left either. That doesn't happen
No,
much.
but we're just not built like that, man. You know,
Right.
we appreciate everybody who's helped us in some way, and same with Seek and Strike. You know, we're not sitting here just discrediting what they did as well. So anybody that's helped us along the way will always deserve credit from us. You know, and we're grateful to the people that have been a part of the journey.
So tell me what 2026 looks like. I can't believe we're already in 2026, but here we are. And what's this year look like for you guys? I mean, records out, tour. I mean,
And you know,
or just sit back, relax,
who
enjoy the
really
record.
no, you know, it's kind of like who really knows, you know, but I can say that we're just working on some things that we think are super, super cool.
Mm.
And we're just doing our very, very best to just build momentum, right? The idea is this is our first independent album, and we're looking at it like a snowball that we're rolling down the hill. We don't know what's down the hill, you know, but what we do know is that we hope that that snowball starts to just become more traction. It becomes faster, and as it grows, that's to me the metaphor would be the fans that are now paying attention and involved. And in a perfect world, that's all we're trying to do, man. So that's been the goal since 2010 when our first album came out. You know, so
Awesome. Man, dude, thank you for doing this today. Absolutely love the record. Keep it up. Enjoy the record. Enjoy what you guys were able to put together because you got something special here, man. And hopefully you guys get to Indianapolis here at some point this year or next year so I can see this music live, dude, because I haven't
yeah.
seen you since Mayhem 2014. That's how long it's been since I've been able to see you live. So
Oh,
we're due.
long overdue.
We're
Long
fucking
overdue.
due, man.
We're due.
Dude, thank you so much for the music and for the interview. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Well, see you later. Have a great day.
All right, you too, brother. Bye.
See ya.